Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is John Campea, and this is a companion video. What are companion videos? Well, I'm awfully glad that you asked. See, every day on the John Campea Show, we take time to take some live questions. However, we don't always have time to get around to all the live questions that get sent in, but I want to make sure if you sent in those questions that they get answered properly in a video. So I gather up those unused questions and we address them right here on companion videos. Now, this is Thursday, June the 20th. So these are going to be answering the leftover questions from this morning's John Campea Show. So with that out of the way, let's get into it and start getting caught up here. And we're going to start things with Charles NC, who writes, "Hey, John, have you ever played the Jak and Daxter on PlayStation?" I never have. I'm familiar with the game, like the two characters and everything, but honestly, I never have. And there's like multiple of them. And I know there's a version on PS4 as well. I have a PS4, but honestly, no, I've never played the game. The Entertainment Elite blog writes, "Max Landis is such a pretentious D-bag. Frankenstein is a bad story. Let me make it better. Victor Frankenstein, I mean, come on." Well, now hold on a second. All controversy aside, like Max Landis controversy aside, Max Landis never said, "Frankenstein is a bad story, let me make it better." I don't believe he ever directly said that. Lots of people do remakes to beloved stuff. Other people have done Frankenstein, other incarnations of Frankenstein stories. So I wouldn't get down on him for that. I think there might be other things to get down on him for, but I wouldn't get down on him for that personally. Anyway, Venkat Ram Saran Tumala writes, "I effed a polar bear and I still couldn't get you out of my mind. Like it or not, Black Mirror," oh, I guess it's from Black Mirror. "Like it or not, Black Mirror has some interesting philosophical questions to ask." I'll tell you, I've never seen Black Mirror. Sorry, let me rephrase. I've seen one episode of Black Mirror, and it was that one episode with Mackenzie Davis. And I think they even won some they won some awards for that one episode. It's the only one I've ever seen, and I liked it. I liked what I saw, but I've just never watched any of the rest of it. One of these days, I'm going to get caught up in Black Mirror because everybody I know watches it. So I suppose at some point I should probably watch it too. Film Fan Rant writes, "Mrs. Kresh, well, you know what they say about the MCU, Beverly." Oh, this is a play on the It trailer. "You know what they say about the MCU? No one dies in the MCU. No one who dies in the MCU ever really dies." So in the It trailer, as Jessica Chastain, as the older version of Beverly, is having tea with that creepy old lady, you know what they say? Nobody who dies in whatever the name of the town is ever really dies. And that's true. The MC Fake Death the Marvel Cinematic Fake Death universe is no one who dies in. Even if they wipe out half the population, they all come back. Everybody comes back. And I'm telling you, at some point, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. Not this year, not next year, maybe not within the next 3 years, but at some point, I 100% guarantee you, Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. is coming back. I guarantee it. Anyway, Weasel writes, "Keanu Reeves should play Silver Surfer in the MCU. I disagree. If you're going to get a guy like him, why would you just want to CG him? Why would you want to cover him up and make? I disagree. I would just get a professionally trained voice actor and a good mocap actor to do it. If you're going to have, Keanu Reeves in an MCU movie, put him into a role that he fits, but give us a role that he's not going to be covered up with CG. Give us Keanu Reeves if you're going to do it. That's how I feel at any rate." Epic Berserker writes, "My friends, you bow to no one." Dude, I'm telling you, just trying to get me emotional. Whenever I think about that line in Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, I just get whole bunches of emotional thinking about it. One of the best lines, one of the best moments in all of cinematic history, in my personal opinion, as the king and everybody of all the kingdoms bow down to four humble little hobbits. Oh my God, I'm going to weep just thinking about it. TL Lucario, aka Thomas writes, "Have you ever made an indie film?" I have. I've made a couple. If so, do you have any tips for beginning indie filmmaker like me? Just do it. That's my advice for a lot of people. Ask me, how do I get writing? How do I start podcasting? How do I make a movie? How do I do whatever? Just do it. Quit sitting around and thinking about it. Quit sitting around and talking about it. Do it. Pick up your camera, set it to video, point it at something, hit record, and then later hit stop. And there, you've started. Even if what you start with isn't in your finished product, just start. Don't sit around and wait for everything to be perfect. Otherwise, you're going to be like 99% of the other people out there, and you're going to be sitting around forever. Just get started. Do something today that gets you closer, no matter how small, to what it is you want to be doing. In this case of this, start shooting something. Just start writing, just start shooting something. That's the best thing, because that's what stops 99% of people, is the getting started. So just get started, man. Good luck. All right. Matthew Heap writes, hey guys, I wanted to thank you both. Well, Rob was here earlier today. I wanted to thank you both for the inspiration. Me and my friends set up a movie podcast, Red Band Reviews, and you have both been part of the reason why. Keep up the great work. I think that's great, Matthew. I constantly am trying to encourage people to add your voices to the film fan community. Maybe you won't have a show that gets 5,000 viewers. Maybe you won't have a podcast that gets 1,000 listeners, but it's important, I think, for more people in the fan community to start adding their voices to the conversation. The tools are there. Blog, if you just want to write. Podcast, if you just want to have audio. YouTube, if you want to do video, whatever. And some people think, well, if I can't do it and get, 3,000 views, then it's not worth doing. That's BS. When I started my movie blog, it was just called the Movie Blog. I did like 50 people in the first month. Like in the first month, 50 people read my site. Maybe it was a little bit more than that. Maybe it was a little bit less, but it was a small, tiny number. And I thought it was great. I was sharing my passion, and there were like 50 other people out there who were engaging with my passion about movies. That's great. More people need to get involved. And I think that's great that you guys took that step, Matthew, and you're doing it, and best of luck to you. As long as you're having fun, man. As long as you're having fun, that's the key. All right, Royce Freeman writes, what do you think of Canadian censorship over movies? Cronenberg said that they can force you to cut things and give you jail time if you... Oh, that's BS. Okay, one of two things either happened there, Royce. Either number one, Cronenberg misspoke, or number two, you're misinterpreting something he said. Canada is not a police state, okay? That's total BS. The only way you can go to jail for something you film is if it breaks other Canadian law, whether it's hate speech or whatever. If it breaks other law, if something you're doing with a movie breaks other law, then yes, you can go to jail. You make a movie where a minor has sex with an adult? Well, forget censorship. That's breaking the law. That's the only way that can happen. So you're either what probably happened, Cronenberg either didn't communicate that properly, what it was his point was trying to say, and I haven't heard him say this, but that's complete BS. That is complete BS. Epic Berserker writes, what's your all-time favorite movie? Mine is Gladiator. My name is Maximus Decimus Meridius, commander of the armies of the North, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance. It is a fantastic movie. I love Gladiator, but obviously my all-time favorite movie is Star Wars. And when I say Star Wars, I'm actually talking about the collection of the original three movies. The original, that's, A New Hope, Empire, Return of the Jedi. Star Wars is my all-time favorite movie. Easy, bar none, no questions asked. But I love me some Gladiator. Love me some Gladiator. People should know when they're conquered. Would you? Would I? It's a fabulous movie. It's a fabulous movie. I love Gladiator. Laugh Warehouse writes, will you do a Toy Story 4 spoiler discussion? I hadn't thought about it, but I think yes. I think that's a really good idea. I think this Sunday I will do a Toy Story spoiler discussion. I'll probably aim for it for around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. But yes, I do think I'm going to do a Toy Story 4 spoiler discussion. I think that's a great idea. I think I'll do that. All right, MZod780 writes, there are a lot of excellent quotes in Lord of the Rings. Yes, there are. But nothing gives me more chills than I am no man, right before she kills what's the name of the head of the Nazgul. Why am I forgetting the head of the Nazgul's name? Anyway, yeah, when she kills him, that's a great moment. Even writing this is giving me goosebumps. It's a great moment. But again, like you said yourself, Emzod, there are so many great lines in Lord of the Rings, and particularly in Return of the King, that line isn't even in my top 5. Like, that's how good the writing is. It's just crazy good. And that is a great line. And that is a great moment in the film. Absolutely. All right. Ali Atali writes, I thought Speed was so much better than True Lies. Hey, man, subjectivity of film. I like Speed. I like Speed very much, as a matter of fact. I like it very, very much. But True Lies to me is the greatest action movie of all time. It's not that it's got the best action in it per se, but overall, when you take the story, dialogue, humor, and then the action all put into one, to me, True Lies is the greatest action movie of all time. I'll take it over Speed, 7 days a week, twice on Sunday. But don't get me wrong, I appreciate Speed very much as well. I think that movie's great. Okay, Lone Wolf X6 writes, My name is John Constantine. All trench coat and arrogance. I'll drive your demons away, kick them in the buttocks, and spit on them when they're down, leaving only a nod and a wink and a wisecrack. Now, I don't remember if that's from the Keanu Reeves Constantine movie, if it's from the short-lived Constantine show, or if it's from Constantine in Legends, which I haven't watched the latest season of Legends. I kind of tapped out on the show, to be honest. But, so I don't know which is right. Clearly it's the John Constantine. I just don't know which John Constantine incarnation it is. I'll say this about Constantine, though. I was never a big fan of the Keanu Reeves movie, to be honest with you. The television show that they tried not too long ago, the pilot episode I thought was great. I thought the pilot episode of that Constantine show was great. And the actor, and forgive me, I can't remember his name, but the actor who plays Constantine is perfect for it. He's great. So I watched the pilot episode, got all excited, and then I watched episode 2, and they totally changed the show. Like the show had a completely different feel after, like they changed main storylines. They gave it a different sort of feel than the pilot had. It's like, wait a minute, what happened? And I watched another 2 or 3 episodes after that. And it's like, I'm not into this show. I loved this show from the pilot, but I didn't like what the show became. And I only watched a few episodes. I watched maybe 4 or 5 episodes in total, and I gave up on it. Now, when they introduced him, I got a big kick out of it when they started bringing him into the Arrowverse. And then when they introduced him as an ongoing character in Legends, I thought that was a good idea. And I liked what I saw of him in it. But again, I didn't watch any of this season, so I'm kind of a little bit behind on it. Anyway, Amy Berg writes, I cannot wait for Far From Home now after these reviews. Oh, I agree. I mean, look, I've been excited about it. And seeing the reviews that we're seeing in social media about Spider-Man Far From Home is very exciting. But for me, it's the people I know personally that have seen it, and I've talked to them, and that's what really gets the motor revving, Amy. That's what really gets me excited. I cannot wait to watch this damn thing. All right. Bruno Ali writes, what did you think about the Mutant Blast trailer? Okay, so somebody brought up the Mutant Blast trailer, and I didn't even know what it was. It's a trauma film. And I watched the trailer, and it's just, I mean, it looks like a trauma film. Low budget, big gore, nasty visual effects, a lot of head stomping, head smashing, headshots, the giant rat monster. It was, let's just say it was interesting. It was very interesting. Probably not one I'm going to check out myself, but I know some people who really dig these style movies, and I think it's going to appeal to some people, but yeah, it was a little bit crazy. Dashi writes, my boyfriend just asked me to marry him last night. Here's hoping to have a Star Wars themed wedding. Any marriage advice? Well, you know what's funny? First of all, congratulations, dude. That's awesome. I'll tell you the exact same thing. Somebody else just, like 2 or 3 days ago, said the same thing. They were getting married, asked for marriage advice. I'll tell you the exact same thing I said before, Dashi. Over-communicate. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Don't ever sit on anything. Don't ever assume the other person knows what you're thinking or feeling. Communicate, communicate, communicate. Never commit the sin of thinking that person should know. No, 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 no. Don't do that. Communicate. Over-communicate, over-communicate, over-communicate. That's the best thing I know. Now, I am no marriage therapist, so don't take my advice with a grain of salt, clearly. But I found that for Ann and I, when we communicate, clearly there's nothing we can't work through. So I would suggest over-communication. So congrats again. And again, over-communicate, over-communicate, over-communicate. Let's see. Jeff Mullins writes, heads up, some old MacBooks are recalled. Really? Well, it depends how old. Because I got myself a MacBook over here. I've got a MacBook Air. It's one of the original MacBook Airs, actually. Let me see if I can get... a camera shot of it here. Let's see. And I get a very bad camera shot. This is a very bad, very cheap, bad webcam. But I'll show you this here quick. So this is my MacBook Air. Here's my guitar. This is my MacBook Air. This is an old one. Like, I've had this MacBook Air like since, way back in the AMC days. Seriously. I think this is the MacBook Air that we bought getting ready to start Movie Talk, maybe? I think so. Like, it was right near the beginning is when I picked this MacBook Air up. And it's an old one, but you know what? So I'm pretty sure that whatever's being recalled is probably after this model. This is an old machine, but I still love it. You know, I am very much a Mac guy. I love Macs. Really, it's a beautiful experience doing production work on a Mac. It really is. Now, to be honest, right now, I mean, for the longest time, my phone was an Apple phone. I had an iPad as my tablet, MacBook as my laptop, and I've had MacBook Pros as well, and a souped up, iMac as my main desktop. Right now, the only Mac thing I still have is this laptop, and I love this laptop. This thing is a workhorse. It's totally never had a single issue with it, no problems. It's been great. But I eventually swapped out my iMac. I got a new PC. And it's just that it was a budgetary thing. I could get this PC at this power for a lot less than I could get, you know, one of the souped up things. Now, don't get me wrong. I'd love to get one of the new Mac Pros, but it's outside of my price range. I switched from iPhone to Android. Much better experience, to be honest with you. I will never go back to an iPhone. iPhones are great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trash talking iPhones, but I find the Android experience so much better. So I'm glad. And then I swapped out my iPad for an Android tablet. And frankly, I just like the iPad is a better thing than my tablet. Like, my buddy just came over with a brand new iPad Pro, and it's a little bit better than my tablet. Difference is his iPad Pro, which is a little bit better than my tablet. His iPad Pro with the pencil and everything was a little over $1,000. Mine was about $280 and also has the Samsung Touch Pen and everything. And it's a great tablet. I love my tablet. And it's about a quarter of the price, even though the iPad Pro is a bit better, quicker, snappier, does a few things my tablet doesn't do. But for the most part, my tablet does everything I need. It's and it's about a quarter of the price. So everything now I own is non-Apple except for my Mac, but I continue to this day to be a big fan of Apple products. I would love to get one of the new like iMac Pros, either the Mac Pro, which I'll never be able to afford, but someday maybe get one of those iMac Pros. I don't know, but I'm very happy with the PC I've got right now. I got this brand new PC, very souped up to do all my production work, including live streaming and stuff like that. And I'm very happy with it. But yeah, this recall probably won't affect this little guy over here because it has just been a workhorse for, I don't know, 7 years. Whenever they came out with MacBook Airs is almost as long as I've had it. Okay, final question of the day is Lords of Longbox. We really shook the pillars of heaven, didn't we? Oh, that's Kurt Russell. But is it Big Trouble? It's either Big Trouble. Oh, okay, I can see Kurt Russell saying it. But was it in Big Trouble in Little China or was it for another one? I'm going to go out on a limb and say Big Trouble in Little China, although I probably wrong about that. But I remember, I know it's Kurt Russell. I know that one's Kurt Russell. All right, guys. That'll do it. We're now all caught up from the questions that we had on this morning's show that we didn't have time for. And that's it for me for now. Guys, thank you for being here and thanks for submitting the questions, not just because you gave us some fun stuff to talk about, but also because you support the channel while you're doing it. And I'm very grateful for that. I'm grateful. Ray's grateful. Fact Checker Jonathan's grateful. Robert Meyer Burnett's grateful. I'm especially grateful. And we're just all very grateful to be part of this film fan community as well. Don't forget, guys, the John Campea Show returns again tomorrow. We already got a bunch of stuff we're lined up to talk about. Make sure you join us then. That'll do it for me. My name is John Campea, and until our next show, bye-bye.